Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Mood Booster podcast.
Episode 44.
Indeed. Today we're talking about chasing unrealistic body ideals. We're really reflecting on why we diet.
Absolutely brilliant episode, right?
An episode of the Times. It's such a good episode. It's an extension of the Mood Booster's first workshop. Yes.
Yeah, it was a fantastic workshop that we delivered earlier this week with our good friend James Brash. And we just thought, let's unpack it even further. Let's go into more detail and let's be a bit self-indulgent and talk about, more of our own experiences and all
100%.
the things that we do here on this podcast.
Exactly. The live talk, it was a massive milestone for us. And the whole talk was really just unpacking the world of diet culture, why we choose the diet, why we chase these body ideals and eat and, have our actions align in certain ways of what we think we should be doing. We're really, as you mentioned, reflecting on our own experiences, whilst also unpacking some of the theory and the science behind why we chase certain body ideals, or why we want to look a certain way as well.
Yeah, it was really, really enjoyable to unpack that and to challenge the conditioning that we in the Western world are socialized to be conditioned with, but also in line with that, break down the language we use, as you say, and therefore the psychology of how our diets are and the restriction around them and what that does to our brains and why we fail them because of that, and just really sort of getting to the goal of being neutral and 100%. Having neutrality and joy in diet,
and in what we eat.
Yeah.
A great episode. Really, really inquisitive, dare I say. Dare I say. I don't want to throw words around.
Pretty risky.
I don't want to throw words around, but dare I say, it was a good conversation.
Pretty risky. Yeah.
I'm going to use a big word here. It was good.
It was
very good.
More than good. It was
really good.
It was really absolutely
good.
Fundamentally good. No, it was phenomenal. As always,
enjoy the episode, guys.
Oh, I loved it.
It was a fantastic episode. We hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
Enjoy.
We'll see you soon.
See you next time.
Bye.
Today's episode is sponsored by Breezy, a new AI therapy app created by London founder Becky, designed to help you feel understood and make real progress between therapy sessions.
Breezy doesn't try to replace a therapist. Instead, it actually gives you a safe space to talk things through, spot patterns, and get personalized steps you can use in your day-to-day life.
The app remembers what works for you, gives you tasks to try throughout the week, and integrates with your human therapy sessions to help you stay on track.
Built with mental health professionals and currently working with universities towards research and clinical trials, you can also opt in to shape the future of this AI mental health tool.
Use code MOODBOOSTER for 50% off an entire year subscription after a free trial. Just search Talk to Breezy with an I in the App Store today.
Hello, everyone.
Hola.
Welcome back to the Mood Booster podcast.
Welcome in.
A podcast of the Mood Boosting.
44.
44.
44.
The Mood Booster podcast.
Episode 44.
44, welcome back.
It's crazy, we're at 44 already.
That's actually pretty good.
I'm pretty good at a Scouser accent.
Is that a Scouser?
Chicken a can of Coke.
Can of Coke.
Anyway.
And for the Americans listening, they're terrified.
Just on the top, what are we talking about today, Charlie?
We are talking about chasing unrealistic body ideals. We're reflecting on why we diet.
Why we diet.
Yeah, it's a fascinating episode. I'm actually looking forward to this conversation.
Pardon? Off the top.
I actually can't help myself at this point. I don't voice break in my normal day.
Really?
Give a white guy a podcast microphone and starts voice breaking like nothing else has happened.
I would beg to differ.
It's insane. I've never voice braked in my life.
No, you never have.
Voice broken?
Voice broken.
Voice bruck.
Voice brucked.
Voice bricked.
Voice brucked.
Well, voice bricked up.
Yeah. How are you all?
Welcome. Sorry for the god-awful chat.
It's so nice to be back here. A couple of days after we'd usually be recording.
Yeah, usually we record on a Wednesday, but it's Friday today.
And why is that?
Because the Mood Booster hosted their first live talk.
Come on.
Such a big milestone for us.
Yeah.
Such a big milestone. We had our first live workshop, our actual first live talk, live event.
We did.
We've done a lot of community work, a lot of outreach, work with different people for different sort of, parts of the Mood Booster, whether it's Mood Boost on tour, speaking with small businesses, universities, but this was a real milestone. The first live event, a ticketed event.
It was a stone of the mile.
It was a stone of the mile, and it was on Wednesday. And it was actually about joyful fueling for your New Year's fitness goals. It was with James Brash, the registered dietitian, who we did an episode on about 6 episodes ago now.
BrashNutrition.
BrashNutrition. Thanks, James. The episode did super well, so we wanted to bring it to a live talk to an audience, and we had the absolute best time.
Yeah.
Hence why we're recording this now.
The best of times. Yeah, we wanted to unpack that a little bit further, I think, and just go into more of our own reflections. Obviously, we've got an hour workshop and you want to interact with people and hear their thoughts as well.
Yeah.
Some things we'd planned to speak about we kind of cut out because it was a bit self-indulgent, but
yeah,
we've got a podcast, so we can be self-indulgent here.
Exactly. The actual episode or the actual recording should be up by the time. It should be up on YouTube soon. I'm not going to give myself that sort of workload, or us. But it will be up on YouTube either before this recording or afterwards. But keep an eye out for it. It was such a fun evening.
It was.
It was absolutely brilliant. And I was learning lots throughout the whole process of the whole presentation. Even because we did a lot of practice leading up to the actual workshop, didn't we? I was learning so much about just where diet comes from, why we diet, the history of diet as well.
Crazy.
Yeah,
lots to learn.
It was so much. I was learning so much.
Favorite thing you learned?
Favorite thing I learned from that, or probably just how good I am at speaking in public. I'd say.
Yeah, of course. I thought you was going to say because you used to be like fat phobic and now you're not.
No, whoa! I was not. Let's not put that in there. He's dropping me in there. I was not at all.
He didn't used to be fat phobic.
That is. Yeah. What are you trying to do?
It's not something to joke about. That's actually not something.
That's actually really insensitive.
Really insensitive. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, he's apologised. Nice. There we go.
Obviously.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing I learned, I suppose, where the actual body ideals come from. Where they come from and how they're propagated throughout and how they have been throughout time. Seeing how media's had an impact on certain body ideals, why we hold certain body ideals over others as well.
Yep.
How this has been flipped in history. I know we want to speak about this as well.
Oh yeah. Jumping ahead.
And why even in this day and age, because my intro into health and wellness was all about body image when I was 15, 16. Again, I'll go on to that later on, but...
God, such a tease this morning.
I'm such a tease. I'm just giving all the tidbits of information there, really.
Little breadcrumbs here and there.
But I'd say that was for me. What about you? What was the most interesting part for you?
Interesting part. Yeah, I think for me, I don't know if you know, because we've not spoken about it loads already, but we're
about
doing...
to mention your PhD?
No, actually.
Oh, fair enough.
No.
It's funny because everyone knows.
Oh yeah, they do know. Yeah, I am Dr. Marcus. So.
He's Dr. Marcus. That's
no,
on his passport.
It is. No, it's not actually. They don't put titles on your passport.
No.
I would know because I looked.
Do they put it on your plane ticket?
Oh well, yeah, but yeah.
Do you select it?
Sometimes, not always.
Why not?
Just depends on like
how you feeling.
Yeah, like I'm on the exec club or whatever with BA because I've got a. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They have my details and it already like puts my details in, which is Mr. And I can't be asked to go in and change it in the account because I'm not that bothered. But then if it's like a new order,
plane ticket, you will
with like EasyJet or something, I'll put in Dr. Marcus.
Is anyone here a doctor?
Anyone here a doctor?
Before I rudely interrupted you, I'm sorry. Please proceed.
Oh.
What you found most interesting?
Yes. So if you didn't know, we are training for a 120 kilometer run in June. And for me, it came at a really good time because I'm, for the first time, really thinking about fueling, not over fueling, but adding loads more to my diet because I need to, because I'm training to run 120 kilometers and therefore need my muscles and my legs to be healthy and full of all the nutrients that they need. So it was really helpful sort of at this time to really be surrounded by someone who is so knowledgeable in that area.
100%
and just
agree.
Basically via osmosis. Like he never once said, oh, you're training for a 120 kilometer run, this is what you need to do.
No, it was not prescriptive.
Just really sort of helpful to bring to my awareness the importance of fueling correctly and making sure to not underfuel because James was talking about lots of the different issues and ailments that come from underfueling, which again a lot of people do because of getting into fitness for the wrong reasons.
Completely agree with you there. It was his whole approach to the world of nutrition is great, isn't it? Not prescriptive. I suppose that is the right way to do it, and that's what the dietitians have been trained to do, is to not be prescriptive with food plans and say this food good, this food bad, because that then creates what we're talking about in this episode. But instead just empowering people to take control.
Exactly. Giving people the power.
Exactly.
Teach a man to fish And he'll fish for life. And he'll eat for life.
But he can't force him to drink.
No.
At the water.
No.
Lead a man to water and he can't fish.
No, exactly.
That's the phrase, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But he'll fish forever.
Yep. Indeed.
But he won't drink.
Yeah.
He won't drink a drop.
You can't teach
He won't drink a drop.
An old cat new
fishing habits. You can't get the cat to buy new fishing tools in a Bass Pro shop.
Honestly.
And he won't drink a drop.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I can keep saying that till the sheep come home.
That's pretty good.
I know.
Respect.
No, I think, but that also leads us on to where we wanted to start today. I think is actually talking about underfueling and why. So basically, in this talk, we started the talk and said it was a surprise to no one, but show of hands who's been on a diet before. Now, with the exception of 1 or 2 people out of the 60, 70 people that were there, everyone put their hand up. And then we said, okay, and keep your hand up if you started that diet because you wanted to lose weight and that, aka you wanted your body to look a certain way or is basically aesthetics based.
Yeah.
And again, the 95% of people kept their hand up.
Yeah.
I think it's a surprise to no one. We get into diets to lose weight, to go down belt sizes, to not be quote unquote a fat person, all of those things.
100%.
And that is deep rooted in conditioning over decades and at this point centuries to make us feel like fear being fat and have fat phobia and think fat is bad.
Exactly. How long we stay in those diets is up to a lot of things, but I'd say a very fair assumption is that the most reason why a lot of us get into the world of dieting is for that restriction base, is that the control based of what you're eating, and thus to really just change the way you look. I know is my entry point as well.
Yeah, so. I was going to ask you, can you share with me? I've heard about it, but I feel like not in all the details that maybe you have, and also the listener, what your experience, why you got into dieting originally.
Yeah, so it was around 15, 16 I think it was, when I first started going to the gym. I was following some people on YouTube, I think it was.
YouTube?
I was subscribed to some YouTube channels, some fitness guys, and
James Charles.
Yeah, was he vlogging back then?
No, I think he'd stopped vlogging by then. You talking like, how old were you?
15.
So like what
2 years ago?
That, like 2 years ago? No, I think he'd been cancelled by then.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It was not James Charles actually. It was not James Charles. I was on YouTube and I was just following these sorts of bodybuilder gym style videos. So I started to go to the gym. Started to work out because my main goal was I wanted to look good. I wanted to get abs. I wanted to look shredded.
I was going to say, what did look good? So
look good to me was just having abs, just looking lean.
Okay.
I was already a very small person growing up. I was tiny as a child. I was like 50 kilos, 60 kilos probably. Back when I was 15, 16, I was small.
So it wasn't to lose body fat?
Technically it was. I didn't know what that was at that time. I just knew I looked a certain way, wanted to look like bodybuilder, and the part I focused on was abs.
Okay.
To do that, sure, it would be to lose body fat.
Okay.
But that was the gold standard that I was sort of trying to chase. And inherently to do that, I was like, well, I need to eat less to then get thinner skin so I could, or like less body fat so I could look more shredded. That was what I was hearing. And I was following all these gym bro diets, and they were already these jacked guys, probably on some sort of steroids as well. There was actually a point where, when I was quite young, impressionable as well, one of the guys I was following, he was peddling this supplement online. I think it was called, what was it called? It wasn't called like Shocks, because that's obviously the earphones, but it was like, something similar. I remember he looked 3000. He looked absolutely. Now I look back, dude was juiced up to hell, 100%.
Juiced up meaning
on steroids, 100%. And I was trying to buy the supplement online on the website. I was speaking to this chatbot, and because I wasn't 18, I wasn't allowed to buy them. What that says about the supplement, I don't know. But I remember just trying to buy it online because I liked the way the guy looked. So instead of doing that, I started to go to my diet. I was really looking at like how to eat. Unfortunately, I was in clearly the wrong place, because I would, instead of just eating more to gain size, which is what, back then I should have done, I'd just restrict. I was switching out lunch and, lunch meals at school for bags of carrots. I wasn't eating a lot. I started to lose weight because I was still going to the gym. I was exercising more than I had done before, but I just was not eating. I was not fueling at all in order to get the abs that I'd seen online. And it got to a point where I got dangerously thin, as Ross likes to put it. So thin that my mum actually thought I was really ill. She thought like something was wrong. She ordered a large Domino's pizza that evening for me and made me eat the whole thing. It got to a pretty bad place. But just like the whole body standard, it was so ingrained. I remember back when I was at a couple of friends' houses, I think I was like 16 at this point. I think this was maybe towards the end of it. When I was 16, I very much, we were round at my friend's house during summer. It was school time, and he had like a paddling pool, like a big pool in his garden, which was quite nice. And I didn't want to take off my top to get into the pool because I was just quite insecure about how I looked. Yeah. What's up? You laughing?
No, I'm just listening to your story.
You're laughing? What's up?
No, I'm listening to your story.
I want to make it crystal clear to the listener that Marcus is listening at my very vulnerable story about...
I'm not.
Was that not a laugh?
No, you asked me what's going on. I'm just listening to your story.
I was laughing.
No, I'm not.
Right, I don't know what's going on here, guys, but before I was really... He's laughing. Hop over to YouTube and look, he's literally laughing right now.
I'm laughing at the situation.
It's cruel.
Continue with your story, please.
No, I'm going to be closed off now.
Oh, dear.
Okay, no. So I actually couldn't take off my top to get into the pool, and when I did take off my top, I would literally rush into the pool so that they didn't see my body. You got to put like I was still quite young, but I remember one of my friends made a comment saying, "You have great abs. What's going on?" And I just could not see it because of the comparison of the people I was looking at and I was following online. I wasn't regulating anything. I was simply just watching this content, being very impressionable, letting it consume me, and then changing what I ate because of it. Probably at a time when it was very dangerous to not be eating enough as well.
Yeah,
that was my unfortunate intro into health and fitness. And in past years or in previous years, now I'm 25. Fitness for me has changed very much into how I feel. Like moving the way my body feels good, eating what makes me feel good as well. I've tried to become far more aware of what I'm consuming and make sure it's not because of the way I look, but actually because I enjoy the food as well.
Yeah.
And I'm aware, obviously, even saying this, I'm a young guy who still goes to the gym because I like the way it makes me feel. I like the discipline it gives me. But part of the reason to unpack it, I think, is just to really preface that being a young, impressionable guy, that is the sort of intro into health, wellness, and nutrition of what I had was from body image. It was from crippling misinformation online from people who I was following. And without any sort of prevention, it just wasn't great. Like, even attempts to buy, illegal drugs online. That was the point it got to. That's just through like websites and stuff. So
all from chasing a body ideal.
Because I wanted to look a certain way.
That was conditioned into you.
Yeah, and so I think for me that was really where I started from. And
poor you 2 years ago.
Poor me 3 weeks ago. How sad is that?
3 weeks ago. No, well, and I know you say, I understand. I'm like I'm a certain guy here sitting here or whatever.
I understand people definitely still struggle with it.
Yeah, but your reality is your reality, and that's just because you might...
Of course.
Saying you can't have a struggle with that kind of perpetuates exactly what we're conditioned to believe, is that
not at all.
You're privileged because you're in a body that's got less fat and therefore you can't have any struggles, which just perpetuates that actually being thin is better because you're not there. By saying you're not allowed to have struggles, therefore you're better.
By no means was I saying that at all.
No, but I know you want to preface to be like, I understand I'm privileged and stuff.
It was more so that I'm now out the other side of it. I don't have that struggle anymore. Okay, and that is the blessing that I've now found a place to do that. I've just reached a place where I feel much better in the way I look, the way I move, the way I eat as well. But I realise that a lot of people are still going through this sort of thing as well. Hence me just prefacing it is more just to bring a bit of light to how I first started as well. Yeah.
Some light to it. Fair enough.
A lot of light in this room. How about you?
Yeah. Gosh, how about me? Where do I start? I have always been someone who has struggled with eating too much, not enough, all of the things in between. Food noise consumes me, or used to consume me. Still does to some extent, and it's really freaking annoying. I, as a teenager, had it was the classic. I had 3 older brothers who were all sort of thinner, carrying less body fat when I was younger. And then there was always the classic, Marcus is carrying more weight, but don't worry. The line was, he'll go up and in, as in taller, and then as such go inwards as well.
Yep.
Just never really happened. Got to around 14, 15, and I wasn't really going up that much. Short king.
Short king.
And I just started if we sticking with the verbiage, I was going outwards more than inwards, and I was just gaining like weight quite rapidly.
Not up and out.
Yeah, I was just staying
and out.
Yeah, staying and out.
Staying out.
And yes,
in and out.
So in and out. Not sponsored. Anyway, yeah. So this is completely fair enough, and to what she thought was the best thing to do. My mum sat me down and was like, I'm starting to like get a bit concerned, you're rapidly putting on weight. So yeah, around sort of 14, 15, I found my sort of area or my first experience with diet and all of those things. Started going to the gym, running on the treadmill. It was mainly just cardio, to be honest. And restricted my eating quite heavily. Would have a handful of cornflakes in the morning for breakfast, dried, because that was fewer calories if they were dry. No milk, calories. And then celery and carrots for lunch. In my mind, I'm pretty sure this is true. Don't fact check me, but
the carrots.
The celery was like, oh, well, you actually burn more calories eating it than you do consuming it. So that's like helpful because I'll feel full up from just not having any calories. And some carrots also. So snap.
Mate, carrots have got a stronghold on England's young, impressionable male audience.
My night vision was through the roof.
Mate, I was glowing orange.
Goated with the sauce. Yeah.
I was glowing orange.
glowing with the sauce.
Glowing with the sauce. How's that?
And then I'd
try that on for size.
I'd have whatever supper was for supper that was cooked at home.
Supper.
And I rapidly lost weight. And that was like 14, like I said, 14, 15, 16, around then. Disordered eating, if you were to look at it, like it's hugely restrictive, and to a point where like a couple of my friends in school said afterwards, like, oh, like once it plateaued out and I sort of resumed normality, they were like, oh, we were gonna speak to our tutor about this, like we were genuinely concerned about what was going on, but yeah, I managed to sort of like get myself out of that a little bit. But I think that's just it's never really gone away from there. I've been on so many different diets like keto, all of the intermittent fasting, just whatever, all ultimately with the end goal of trying to reduce my body fat and be more toned and have a torso that is like, probably abs and toned and all those things. I don't have that now, but what I would say is over the last year, and what I said in the workshop, I was happy to share, was that I've found sort of more neutrality than ever, and more sort of just being neutral with how I look, my body, all those things in the last year or so, from just moving from hyperfixating on it to just adding things to my life and sort of being busy with other exercises and bringing in exercises for just the sake of being strong and enjoying them, and hobby and like crafting and being better at something, and therefore like trying different foods as well. So I'd say over the last year it's way less of a sort of a thing, but I definitely am someone who is still in myself internally challenging those sort of, which we'll come on to talk about very shortly, the conditioned ideals of what a body should look like and how they mean in terms of health. Because I think I started running. I'm now obviously very successful with my running. I'm about to run a 120-kilometer run, but I've been running every day for 5 years. Like, I'm very much a runner, but I started running to lose weight. I'm not going to lie, that's why I started running. Any sort of fitness historically I started was to lose weight. And actually, again, and we were speaking about that in the workshop because it was about fitness goals. Actually, the most joy I've had from fitness and the most confidence I've had in my ability as like someone who, as a sports person, all those things, is when I've really actually done those sports for more than just losing weight, and I've actually seen my ability and my strength and all of those things. And I've had so much joy from that fitness. But when I was just focusing on it for the sake of losing weight, I was like, oh, I'm not really a good sports person. Like, we've had episodes speaking about this. Like, I've said I was rubbish at sports my whole life. I've come to realize I'm very much not rubbish at sports, and I'm very good at sports. And that all comes from like a place of like...
You beat me at squash in Spain for one game.
For one game? Yeah. We ended 50-50, didn't we?
Can't remember. We did 3 games, I thought.
I think so.
I thought I won.
Oh, did you?
I thought I won. 2-1. You still won a game, though?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, thanks.
You're not rubbish at sport.
Yeah, no, I'm not rubbish at sport.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm just better.
Yeah.
It's competitive nature.
Yeah.
No, you are very good at sports. You are.
No, yeah, so I guess all of that to say is, I'm very much someone who has struggled, still do. I don't think, like I said in the workshop, we're never like at the end goal. This is something we're always trying to work on. We all sort of are a product of our contexts and our socialization and our conditioning. Yeah. And our conditioning is that of fat equals bad in our society. It's up to us to know that and challenge that and be aware of that. But that is the conditioning that we subliminally or subconsciously, just jump to. And
it was fascinating to know where that comes from as well. There was a lot of what we spoke about in the talk, wasn't it? Yeah. The origins of where that narrative comes from is even being propagated now. It's been propagated all throughout history. Now, very much in the era of the influencer. Yeah. But it's been told all throughout history, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, we spoke about that, didn't we? Because
we did.
It helped paint a picture for the audience of actually... This is something that's so deeply conditioned into us to think being fat equals bad, but actually we can use historical times, sorry, that's really poor English, times in history to actually show the flip side of that or the reverse of that. And if we can show the reverse conditioning or the opposite conditioning, we can see that it's socially constructed ideas 100%. And then brought in with James's evidence, which I'm not going to profess to go into all the details because that's his expertise, but I have got the paper here to reference at least.
To drop.
We can just all of that painted together see that actually being fat does not necessarily equal bad.
Or just not even healthy. A lot of it was seeing that like history we have seen.
Yes, I was going to say, I forgot the name of it, but you looked into the religious
ideals. So it started in the Middle Ages. Really the first traces of diet culture itself started in the Middle Ages. It was something called holy anorexia. It was largely prevalent in like Catholic nuns or religious women, to sort of not mimic but to pay respects to Jesus' suffering and his torments. The women would intentionally cause themselves pain, mainly throughout starvation and through fasting, all to achieve a certain body weight to look like they were sort of mimicking Jesus' pain as like a sign of respect. That was called holy anorexia.
So like
back in the Middle Ages.
Literally Middle Ages, we're seeing traces of diets.
Of diet culture and seeing influencing what they eat because of what they think they should look like and how they think they should act. It dates back so far. This is really the first case of it, and people would die because of it.
I think for me, the biggest sort of representation of a historical sort of phenomenon to look at, or trend to look at, is Tudor times, or 15th, 16th century, around then anyway. It was literally the opposite. Being larger was seen to be healthier, because if you were larger, it meant you could afford calories, you could afford food, you could afford energy, and it also meant that on the opposite of that, the flip side of that, you didn't have to expend energy by working outside or manual labor, those sorts of things. So literally, we see now being fat is bad and associated with consumption. Well, historically, being fat was good because it meant health and wealth and prosperity.
Opposites.
So we would aspire to be larger and have bigger bodies. Really interesting. This is where sort of we come into where the origins of fat phobia come from and all of those sorts of things. I know we can see through the critical race theory, or basically James was speaking. I didn't know of this book before, and something I learned from James. Well, we both did. The book Fearing of the Black Body.
Sabrina Strings.
Yes. I have so many books I need to read, but it is on the Amazon order list because I really want to read it. It's fascinating. But ultimately, that very probably butchering the summary comparatively to what James was saying.
That's fine.
But through colonialism, we were putting the Caucasian white body to be a symbol of superiority. And therefore fearing the black body and putting the black body, anyone sort of from an Afro-Caribbean background, their body types to be seen as inferior and something to move away from. Obviously, their body types are different to ours and look different to ours. So
different proportions in different areas, and that was really what was propagating the sort of fearful narrative around being, whether it's larger hips or whatever it was.
Yes, right, exactly. Simply put, again, I think the audience really resonated with him when he was.
He did a great job explaining it. It'll be on the recording, but it was just more fascinating to know. It's not simply, there's no actual truth in why we should look a certain way, and it really stems from all these different issues. Early onset racism, early onset classism, as we saw from the Tudor times. Religion. Sexism patriarchy as well. I know you were doing a great job at explaining that as well, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, I haven't got the paper to hand, but I mean, I know of it. So, a paper really nicely summarizes, not nicely, it's probably the wrong adjective.
Perfectly does a great job.
But encapsulates the societal narrative that we see in that from a patriarchal lens, women are supposed to be smaller, subservient, submissive to the power that is the male figure, and therefore also the child bearers, all of those things that are just obviously gross in the from a patriarchal lens, and therefore their body types and body standards are seen to be in line with that, and a representation and a symbol of that subservience and things. So smaller bodies, being petite, all of those things, and decades of empirical evidence, but the study we pulled up literally found significant correlations between people's endorsement of Western body standards. So that small women, thin women, all of those things, their endorsement of that was significantly associated with, there were like 5 or 6 different scales, but basically benevolent sexism, hostile sexism, endorsement of traditional sex roles, all of those things were basically significantly associated, showing, simply put, that the views from a patriarchal lens or sexist views, people who endorse sexist views are more likely to endorse Western body types and being thin.
Thus, eating a certain way is even stemmed in like these sorts of values that we've seen all across the Western world.
And we know because diet culture disproportionately affects women and impacts women.
100%.
So that makes perfect sense. But I think ultimately what that led us to, and what James really nicely said from his expertise, again, is the study that I already spoke about, but basically finding that when controlling for cardiorespiratory fitness, people with an overweight or obese BMI had no elevated risk to their mortality comparatively to people with a standard or underweight BMI. So when you control for factors that are actually indicative of health, aka cardiorespiratory fitness, BMI or people's weight status had no impact on their overall mortality rates. And that was the gold standard of a research methodology. It was a systematic review literally published this year.
Unreal. I mean, James was even going into the history of the BMI, the body mass index.
Yeah.
Talking about where that came from, how that was sort of centered. It was based off, it was about European or Caucasian men, wasn't it? Scottish soldiers, I think it was modelled off.
Yeah. And it wasn't even anything to do with health then. It was just looking at the standard body. Like, this guy was interested in just understanding the standard body. Yeah. It
was actually created for insurance companies, wasn't it? I think James actually mentioned that.
Yeah. And then health was retrospectively brought in.
Yes, afterwards.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. But all of that to say, I think it just leads us to what we were really trying to capture before going into like diets and all of those things. It's like, as 21st century individuals in the Western world, England, America, wherever, we are conditioned to believe that fat equals bad, and therefore we are so focused on dieting and losing body fat to look like a certain ideal that we're conditioned to believe is the best and the gold standard. I literally, in preparation, I'm now sort of like, I've always been aware of that, and I'm someone that this it sounds like a pick me moment, but like I'm kind of proud that I've consumed that sort of media. I've consumed that sort of understanding that fat does not equal, and fat phobia and narrative around all of that, and challenging that and being more neutral with bodies and things. But in preparing for the workshop, I've just been more sort of aware of it, obviously, in my surroundings. Even when we were in the wholesale shop to get the food, there were whole stands of like fat busting supplements and stuff.
Nuts.
It's like, drop your fat now, lose this fat, all of these things.
I mean, it's so important to be aware of like how we even are consuming the sorts of information, isn't it? Because that then also gives a lot of credence onto why we diet, why we chase this sort of body ideals. Like looking back, it was to start off with religion.
Yeah.
And then it went on to, the sort of class hierarchy of who we were seeing, who had money, as you say, from the Tudor times. And then it went, onto things like TV and film. And that's how we were told, like, thin is good, because the actors were on the fat-free diets, they were on the carb-free diets.
Yep.
All these food groups were being made to be, like, the bad guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I actually see that when you said actors, it reminded me of a certain narrative I see online, like maybe I'm chronically online, but like the 90s were a time of like...
Yeah, they were.
Like...
100%.
Very, very thin celebrities.
Yeah.
And thin being like glamorized.
All the magazines, and all the sort of interviews and the red carpets.
Yeah, I'm seeing people making social commentary that's kind of coming back in now, and like being sort of
thin is back,
hyper thin, like, and therefore speaking on the opposite, like about larger bodies, is kind of the subtext of that is that's bad again. Of course. Which is,
I think, being hyper aware of the fact that these are social narratives is the best thing you can be, is because if you're aware of this is obviously a pendulum that society clearly goes through, it doesn't actually have any impact on our fitness, as you just showed from that study there. Research is showing it doesn't have any impact on our health. As long as you can be aware of that, it's really difficult, I can imagine, for people, because obviously it's so loud, the social narratives telling you how to look a certain way. So if you're not, that's bad. Yeah. And it's so easy to probably internalize that as well. Yeah. But we're seeing through the research that has no case on that. We've seen throughout history this does pendulum and swing. So just, I think, being aware of like where it comes from, how we consume this information as well, can probably help us just become more neutral to it, as you were saying. Yeah.
I think part of that was something that I'm interested to also talk about, and I know you find fascinating as well, because we actually debated this before working with James, or ever knowing James, is the language we use around food. Yes, and fascinating. I was going to try and mention this. In knowing this, we like you say, we're being aware of that, but like we're like, oh, okay, I'll stop thinking about, fat being bad, but then our language perpetuates it without us even realizing. Like language around food, basically moralizing food. That's ultimately what the issue is. It's moralizing food, which we see across the whole of Western society. There's restaurants called cheat meal restaurants, like cheat meals being bad, having a treat, junk food. I'm going to be good today. I'm going to be bad. I'll go on then. Like all of those things are adding moral language to something that should just be neutral. Food is nutrients. Food is substance. Food keeps us alive. Adding that morality to it without us even realizing perpetuates that idea that food is something we need to attach morality to, and something that we should judge ourselves for, and therefore by proxy judge other people for. What do you? I'm interested to hear your reflections.
No, it's fascinating. I mean, I've very much grown up in a sort of place where I would moralize food because of certain ideals that I held to being maybe the perfect diet, the way I should be eating, because I thought food was more nutritious or food was better for you, for instance. Something that I was fascinated to learn. One of the biggest takeaways I learned from the workshop, which I sort of knew before, but it really sort of, what's the phrase? Came home to the stadiums, was that it's all context-based food. Like one food could be healthier for you based on the context. So just to say overall, a bag of Haribos is junk food, or a bag of sweets is cheating on your meal, or cheating on your diet. Sorry, it's that's just not true, because it's so context based. I remember just used to think that I would act in accordance with that as well, because I saw whole foods to be, for instance, or like single ingredient meals with a meal with just 4 ingredients, for instance, to be better for you because it had fewer ingredients. I would always do that in every single case, because that was the rule of thumb that I was applying to everything. But it's not context specific. If I'm running a half marathon, a bag of Haribos will be far more useful for me than a plain cracker with raw honey and salt beforehand. Just the Haribos is better. The exercise is the healthy bit. So being aware of, first off, the context of what we're eating, then being leading into that, knowing how we speak about food as well. I think it's all inextricably linked as well. Definitely. Being aware of just, as you say, like even the phrases like junk food, I've just kind of, the cheat days is huge in the gym sphere, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Cheating on your diet. You have a clean diet, clean foods, and whole foods. And even the supermarket, the whole foods thing. Like that's even there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's higher quality. And I think a big part of it as well, which we've not really spoken about, but James is passionate about, is how it's linked to marketing.
Yeah.
And the peddling of foods as well.
Yeah.
You get these clean sweets. You get the cleaner ingredient list, and it's marketed as healthy, which means that you pay more for their supplement.
Yeah. Because
it's cleaner and healthier. And I mean, even holy anorexia, like it started back in the Middle Ages, labeled as holy, right?
Yeah.
I know something that you were speaking about, which still fascinates me to this day, is the Weight Watchers thing.
Yeah.
Right? If you're bad, you have sins.
Yeah, literally there's how many sins is in a certain food that you're eating. So you have to count your sins basically, and you're allowed a certain amount of sins a day, which is just like, if you actually think about it for a second.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's just like, and I don't know, I feel like they might have actually changed that.
Since coming out with it.
Yeah, but for like Weight Watch has been around now for decades.
Okay.
And I know people who have been on it.
Me too.
And I know that has been, at least in up until recent times. It might still be. I just haven't heard of Weight Watchers for a couple of years now.
I have, unfortunately. But it shows that even religious language is used because it propagates the idea that we should be holy and pure, right? This is what James was speaking about. It's fascinating. We should be this holy and pure vessel and clean eating. And anything bad you have, a burger, God forbid, it's a sin because it's terrible. And just the narrative that's instantly painting just makes you feel so terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes you feel it's so restrictive, and it's all from the verbiage that we're using around food. It's the moralizing of the language.
I'm really keen on bringing that up because language is so important. We know, and we've said about many episodes regarding different things like your self-esteem and all those things. Language is like the pillar and the foundation upon which we behave, and we build our belief systems, our cognition, all of those things. Language is the cement and perpetuates all of that and solidifies all of that. It builds those connections in our brain. So without even if we can be aware of our language, it's the first step we can do to dismantle like the beliefs we have about ourselves and what we're eating, because ultimately the end goal here, just for a sustainable, enjoyable life, is to have a diet that is your diet. And
your own nutrition.
Your own nutrition. And to the end, what I'm trying to say is that you're just neutral too. And your food is food and it's enjoyable, but it's food. And yes, you exercise, but you exercise because, it might keep me fit, but it also helps me meet people. It keeps my muscles strong. It gives me clarity of my headspace. All of those things I can be a testament to over the last year. Like
100%.
I feel arguably, sometimes I'm really tired and all those things, but my body, I feel like I'm the healthiest I've ever been.
There you go.
And I'm not, ironically, thinking about what I'm eating on a daily basis.
When you're not eating the junk food.
As I have, obviously when I'm eating that awful, disgusting junk food.
I think to one up the sort of language that we're using, when we moralize this food, right? Say we see a food group as bad, very easy to label certain human traits with that food, right? You're eating junk food, thus you're lazy. Okay, if we think this about ourselves, that if I slack on my diet, if I start to eat sweets or burgers or whatever it is, if I start to eat this food, I am then lazy, right? If you have these internalized beliefs then about certain food groups, meaning you're a certain way, this will instantly propagate into what you think about others as well.
On that.
And how you view others, right? Which is just terrible, because then when you're walking past a restaurant, if someone's eating that thing, you have no idea if they're fueling for a race. You have no idea if they're doing that for a certain reason. You will see that person maybe as lazy or slow or whatever it is. And this then very nicely ties into the idea of the body ideals. If you see someone who is larger, you will then tie that to a certain emotion as well. And the more we have these sorts of social constructs about the way we look and the foods we eat, the more divided we are and the less accepting we are as people, which is not good, which is muy mal.
Yeah. Some of the most fat phobic people are people who have lost weight. Because
it's internalized
beliefs. It's the
100%.
internalized beliefs, and the ones that have been like, well, I managed to lose however many stone or kilograms.
Why can't you?
Yeah, you're just lazy, which is just, again, awful.
It's
moralizing and all of the things, and not understanding. This, again, goes from a psychological perspective, is part of every single thing that we enact, every single part of our behavior is a product of this huge, giant, multi-systemic web of different facets in our lives. Our socialization, our attachment, our parents, our genetics, our economic status, all of those things create us as a product and our behavior. That includes our diet. So to say to someone, oh, you've not lost the weight, I've been able to, I'm better than you, you're fat, you're whatever. When someone has, like you say, you have no idea the context. Not only, okay, they might be fueling for a run, they might also be extremely poor, and that might be the first hot meal they've had for weeks. All of those things you have no idea about.
Painting a real picture of just like, this person is this because they look the way they look. Yeah, it's far too reductionist, and it's just like, it's almost just naive, isn't it? But, it's very easy to do though, because of, again, the environment that we're in. It doesn't make you shallow for obviously chasing these sorts of body ideals. It just means you're a product of your environment. Yeah. Right? And I think as we've seen throughout history, when you're a product of your environment, you believe these certain things. And our environment, as I mentioned, is now our phones. It's the social media we consume. Yeah. It's the information we're being told from online. Yeah.
A story I just wanted to think about without, maybe this is a little bit back when we were speaking about language, but it's still very relevant, is I was in the park over here doing, this was over summertime, doing handstands and stuff. And there were two mums in the park, and their children were like literally next to them. And they were talking about going out for food and stuff, and the mum was in front of her daughter saying, "Oh, I can't be going out for food. I'm too fat. I'm supposed to be losing that weight." And I'm not making that up, like that, something I overheard, and it's not verbatim, but that's what was basically said. Yeah. And in my mind, I just remember observing that and being like, because I'm already aware of this, and just being like, so that's something that she not only is sad because she believes that in herself, and fine, like whatever, she might have her own, again, I don't know the context of all of those things, but the language that was used was very much, I'm too fat, I can't go out for food, I need to lose weight. But what was also sad is like the levels of conditioning. So not only is she conditioned to say that to herself and then use that sort of language that puts herself down, but she's modeling that to her daughter and her daughters. And I'm not here saying that, like, judging that woman or anything. It was just more of an observation that it's, I think, unfortunate, really. But her daughter's then learning that not only my mum doesn't like herself, but also fat equals bad, and therefore I probably should restrict my food. And like this 4-year-old girl, without even, it's not like a direct lesson, but that's the thing. It's the languages, that all of the modelling and all of
learn through association.
Yeah. And it was just a real prime example of what I observed in sort of an actual case of just, to them it was such like a benign, like nondescript conversation, and that's why like it stood out even more to me, because it was just so like not even thought about.
Well, I think, and I'd love to hear some, I don't know if you've got any theories about this, Dr. Marcus, but so much of what even listening to this, if you are wanting to lose weight, for instance, which I think a lot of people sometimes are, should they feel bad for wanting to do that? Should they feel bad for wanting to look a certain way? But I think what the underlying message of what I learned from our talk, at least, was so much as focus on the restriction, right? Is the taking away of certain foods, not being able to go out, and not focus on the addition. So much of the central themes of why we want to do these things, whatever it is, it's taking away and holding yourself to this sort of high standard of restriction. And what I've learned is that, like, obviously through my own journey, not that I'm the gold standard at all, but through adding certain things, whether it's a race or maybe like learning to how to do more pull-ups or handstands, for example, that's a goal of mine, a fitness goal. I need to change my mindset from, for instance, the restriction of whatever it is, not only to the addition, but also to knowing that food is now fuel, right? So it's not there to be earned. It's there to fuel to that goal that I have. And because I'm reframing it in the way that I now have this goal, this fitness goal that I have, the food can now be fuel to be able to power me towards my goal, which is the healthiest pit, right?
Yeah, for sure. Psychologically, there's a lot that sort of explains that in terms of diets and things and restriction and actually adding things, because, well, should I break down the psychology of restriction?
I'd like to know, because obviously so much what we're talking about with the nature of diets is taking away, is you're not adding foods, is like the world of it is like, you know, even carb free, fat free, you're taking away it's all restrictive, isn't it? The nature of it.
Yeah, so I guess we start with it being a diet firstly. A diet is different from your diet, and we went over this in the workshop, but a diet is what we're talking about here. It's a restriction-based, time-focused, goal-focused, time-specific, goal-focused. And the goal often lose weight, be less fat, and therefore, in line with that, like I say, it's very rigid and inflexible and focused on, as you said, restriction, no carbs, no this, that, and the third.
Yep.
Restriction and fixed restriction is not something human beings are made to do. We're not made to be in a set rule, a set cage, a set boundary every single day of our lives. Diets are that. We aren't compatible with being on a restricted diet.
Yep.
The thing is, restrictions require the perfect storm of everything working out exactly in the right way for you to be able to maintain that restriction. That's not possible. As I said, as human beings, we have so many variables, like I've mentioned before. But on a daily basis, we've got our mental health, our resilience, our stress levels, our hormone levels, our menstrual cycles, then externally what our children are doing, whether we're late to work, whether we miss the bus, all of those things are a huge interconnected web of all of the variables that make up our lives and our ability to maintain restriction or not. We can't do that every single day, and we aren't supposed to do that every single day. We need more flexibility in our lives, and restriction doesn't allow for that. So when we then inevitably, quote unquote, fail that restriction, we see it just as that, as we are a failure. We are someone who can never maintain a diet. We're just never destined. We catastrophize, we moralize, we say we're bad, we're just a failure. We become deterministic. We believe, I'm never going to succeed at this. I may as well just be destined to not do this, and all of these things. And ultimately, the problem isn't you, it's the over-restriction. Humans aren't supposed to be overly restricted like that. Yeah. Moreover, we have what's called the abstinence violation effect. So the abstinence violation effect in the context of diets is basically defined as when you restrict something so heavily and then you break that restriction, because as I said, as human beings, we're not supposed to be fixed like that. We need flexibility to be able to, on a daily basis, eat something because we got in late from work or whatever it is. When we eat that one thing, because we're so strict on our rules, the floodgates open. We're like, we've just failed. The rules are so strict. Once we violate that abstinence, we catastrophize, and we're like, the whole thing's over now. I may as well eat. I use the analogy of the biscuit. I have the one biscuit in the biscuit tin. I see that one biscuit to be symbolic of a huge failure, and therefore, because of that failure, I may as well just eat all of the biscuits. I've already failed now, so I may as well just go the whole hog and eat the whole tin.
Eat the whole hog, there you go.
One biscuit is not a problem. We can all objectively agree having one biscuit should never be unhealthy, and that isn't unhealthy. But the restriction makes us see it to be unhealthy, and it's a symbol of failure because of that abstinence that we've imposed on ourselves. Abstinence violation effect originates from addiction research, and you hear of things like cold turkey and things.
Of course.
And it's very much seen...
Turkey. Food. Not for you, maybe.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go. Cold turkey.
Not for me, no.
Cold tofu.
Yummy.
Guys, I'm going cold tofu.
Guys, I'm going cold tofu. Cold seitan.
I'm going cold soy.
Cold corn chicken nuggets.
Cold tofu.
Yes. So we basically, because of that, that's what we call the abstinence violation effect.
Interesting.
And we just absolutely, judge ourselves and think, I may as well just, I've failed once now, I may as well just do the whole thing. And therefore, you could have, if I don't like to discuss it like this because I don't want to focus on this, and I'm also not qualified to do so, but you could have had 70 calories of one biscuit. Great, 70 calories, brilliant.
Yeah.
But because you see that to be a failure, you then proceed to have 2,000 calories of a whole pack of biscuits.
Yeah.
Now, if we're entertaining the idea of counting calories, which I don't personally, we can objectively see there's a discrepancy there.
Someone said a great thing in the audience. They said that it's like a great example that they've seen online on social media. It's the same example as, imagine you spill a tiny bit of your drink. You just then, because you've done that, you then throw your entire drink on the floor. The whole thing's gone. It's because if we're so focused on not spilling the drink, don't spill the drink, you then spill a tiny bit, you then just go the whole hog and just chuck the whole drink on the floor. You wouldn't do that. Imagine you've cracked a tiny bit of your phone screen, a tiny bit at the top.
I have.
Is then cracked. You then just go like, okay, it's broken, and then just start smashing with a hammer. If we're so focused on not doing that little one thing, it's an extreme example, but it's the same case. It's the same theory behind it, right? Is if we're so focused, as what you're saying, on protecting the little bit, restriction, rules, guidelines, strict parameters, and we break that, the dam floods. The dam breaks, and the whole estuary floods. You know what I mean? So I think it's just being okay with there being no guidelines and just being more of a template on how to actually feel properly.
Yeah, because also, if I may also speak about the ironic process. The ironic process theory. Not only does restriction make you sort of open the floodgates, like within that as well, the ironic process theory is another psychological phenomenon we observe, which actually just shows that, again, through decades of research, when you tell yourself you're not allowed something, inevitably you want it more. And there's cognitive mechanisms that underpin this, but basically, simply speaking, when something's not allowed in your life, you hyperfixate, you're more distractible towards it, you think about it more, all of those things. Like we used Eugene the elephant in the presentation.
This pink elephant called Eugene with a beautiful little top hat. Eugene the Third.
Lovely guy. Yeah, beautiful little elephant.
Sound chap.
I'm
a sound chap.
When you tell yourself you're not allowed it, you think about it more. Again, we'll share the reference here, but literal,
This is the ironic process theory.
Again, another literature review published recently found that people who restricted their food focused more on the food, had distractibility towards the food, binged that food when it became available, all of those things. Just, again, when we're not allowed something, we want it more. So ultimately, all of this to say, to come back to your original point, when we focus on restricting, it just has the opposite effect, and actually is draining, not enjoyable, stressful, just judging ourselves, all of those things. And actually, when we can start to move away from like emptying our cup and restricting our cup, and move towards, exactly as you said, adding to our cup and bringing things into our lives, trying new food groups, trying new recipes, not only just food, but like trying new exercises and not just focusing on the one that's going to make me lose weight. All of those things, when we add all of those things to our lives and bring things into our lives, ironically, the thing we're trying to avoid or think we shouldn't have becomes more proportionate in our lives, or it goes away and isn't as sort of focused or in need, or all of those things. They're still there, and in the picture I used in the presentations, the cookie, the biscuit was still in the cup, but it was proportionate to all of the greens and the fibers and the exercise and all of the health and wealth that was being added by choosing to just be. Again, I say choice. It takes. I'm not giving all of the responsibility to the individual, because there's so much more at play here. But just trying every day to be a bit more additive, excited, abundance focused, and ultimately, therefore, by product, neutral towards food and diet.
Goes into the same. I think exactly what you're saying is when you start to focus on the addition of things instead of the restriction, the stuff which you probably don't want to be eating or think is bad will probably stop. Being eaten anyway. Same thing goes for using. I know one of my New Year's resolutions was initially was to use my phone as before bed. Very classic example.
That old classic.
That old one. Instead, very much flipped it as well to, I want to read more before bed, which I'm doing now every night, which is great. And inherently not using my phone before bed. So it does end up having the same impact, but it's coming at it from a lens of, well, what can I add in place that I want to do instead? And it's far easier to do something instead of not do something. It's far easier for me to pick up the book instead of be like, every night. Because obviously you fall back to your habits, right? Whenever the times get tough, if you're tired from a day of work, especially before bed when you're tired, if the habit is not to pick up the phone, you fall back to that. But if the habit for me is to pick up a book, I pick up the book and the phone doesn't get picked up anyway. So it has the same impact. But through addition, which I think is nicely a real nice example of what you're saying.
Clean
psychologically.
Example. Yeah, exactly.
Clean, healthy, not a junk example.
Oh, I hate
not
that junk
sinful, junk.
Sinful, disgusting,
bad,
gross,
and unhealthy, lazy.
No. So I think to summarise for me, I'm interested to hear your reflections as well.
Please.
I think for me, it was just a real nice sort of. It's like self-indulgently, like a real nice sort of summary or what's the word? Like,
I'm looking forward to this.
Encapsulating. No. just summarized basically where I've sort of been to and where I'm getting to and where I've got to. Yeah, it was really nice to obviously bring in my psychological research expertise, all of those things, but also just reflect on sort of where I'm getting to and where I strive to be is with like neutrality, body neutrality, diet neutrality, and exercise abundance, and enjoying just being healthy and letting my body find its own composition through just living and being healthy and trying to be healthy. I think I'm focusing more on health and abundance, and as such my body's just doing what fitting into the body it needs to be to support that. 100%. And it's really, really enjoyable and lovely. I
think as someone who doesn't have a PhD, doesn't have a master's, doesn't study psychology, didn't look at nutrition or works in the ICU, as someone who comes at it from a far more, I want to say, normal stance, someone who isn't the most informed or educated about these sorts of things. For me, it was so useful and so just informative throughout every step of the way, learning from you guys about not only your experiences, but what the science is saying, what the theories are saying, what like history has shown us, and how it paints just such a clear picture of the fact that it is these sorts of social narratives which stem from different places, which actually the causes of why we think we should look a certain way, and not because it's based in any sort of health or fitness outcomes. It's social science. It's not actual health. Learning that and properly internalizing that, it shines a light on my own upbringing with the words I was fed, with the way I thought I should look. Being a young guy, I know, diet culture largely affects women, but I can speak on my own experience here. Being a young guy growing up, you have these I was very much I don't want to say victim, but I was very much a product of the environment which was telling me to look a certain way because I'd be more desirable, or because I'd be stronger and I could be more masculine. All these sorts of trigger words are put on these sorts of things. And I think it just paints a very clear picture to where it comes from and what it's steeped in. And I think what I've also been sort of learning over the past couple of years, which I was saying in the beginning, was having moved to a place of learning to move and eat because I like the way I'm doing it. It actually makes me feel good. I feel healthier. My mind's clearer. My body feels better. Listening to my own body, not to the outside. I'm sure I don't have the broadest shoulders in the world. I don't have the cut abs either. But for me, it's very much, I'm at a place where I'm actually enjoying what I eat. I look forward to my meals. I look forward to the days where I get to move more as well, because I found enjoyment in it. And that's only something that I've actually been able to get through lived experience and sort of shutting out a bit of that noise as well. Sure, as a byproduct, some of the benefits of the stuff I'm doing might lead me to have, stronger legs, more of the running, for instance. And just being aware of that means that I can have a far healthier outlook. So when I'm at the event or the gathering, the party, I'm absolutely fine to eat that because I've got such more of a neutral lens with food as well. And that's a nice place to be. And what I've learned from the workshop and from you and from James was just that it doubles down. The science shows this, the theory show this, history show this as well. And so being more of an observer, more of a, I don't want to say normal because it indicates that you and James are normal, but someone without the degrees, it's nice to observe that.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know if anyone else resonates with that at all, but
well, this whole experience, that reflection, all of this, it's really lovely and just really nice to sort of
100%.
Yeah, I
boost the
just
mood.
Listening then is a bit soppy, so apologies in advance. Get the sick buckets ready.
Here we go.
But it's just really nice, learning and seeing like the. I'm not saying this because the growth together, but also like your growth and it's just really like inspirational to see and lovely. So
Thank you very much. That's why we're doing this. I think it's just to learn.
Yeah,
it's one of the biggest benefits is just learning from it all.
Yeah.
So it's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. That's boosted my mood for sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic week with the workshop. Fantastic conversation as well, and just boosting our moods.
Very good.
Becoming just the monks we know we can be.
I know.
The Buddhist monks in the ancient Chinese hills that we know we can be.
You need to live a dual life of more than dual actually, but let's stick with dual. Philosopher and monk.
I do. Surfer, philosopher, and monk.
Yeah.
I need to live in the Chinese mountains and be catching waves and meditating every day.
Andrew Tate, surfer,
Okay.
philosopher, monk.
Don't slip that in there. Don't put monk in
I
there.
shouldn't have started with Andrew Tate. I should have slipped that in the middle.
Should have put that right, just straight off the gauge. Huge.
We jest.
We jest and joke. Well, I think that brings us nicely onto the wrapping up part.
Yes.
Marcus, bringing it back to why we're all here. The small wins.
Back to the small wins.
What has boosted your mood this week?
What has boosted my mood this week?
There we
Thank
go.
you for asking. Zainab, one of our followers.
Yes.
Shout out Zainab. She has just got her blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Unreal.
So, yes.
Congratulations.
Well
That's
done,
really
Zainab.
cool.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
Are you dabbled?
I've dabbled. I want to start doing it again.
Yeah.
I don't know when I have the time to.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I was speaking to someone yesterday about it, actually.
Oh, nice.
Someone I was speaking to in my job.
Oh, sweet.
They just got their purple belt.
Oh,
But yeah,
sick. That's
a blue belt is...
blue, or where does that come in?
Blue's just below, but it's
Okay.
still incredibly difficult to get.
Yeah.
So Zainab, incredible there.
Huge. Where did you get to, or were you not colouring?
I was doing a lot of no-gi, actually, when I was training. Sorry, I just said that.
Cool, yeah. We all know what that means.
Gi is the sort of gear that you wear to like wrap your belt around as well.
Okay.
It's like the pajamas that you wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, the no-gi's in like just like a rash vest and like shorts.
Oh, so you weren't doing it in...
I was doing a bit of gi and no-gi.
Okay.
Stuff I was doing was a mix though.
Right.
Yeah.
So you weren't doing belts? Like...
Not the level that Zainab's doing.
Okay, well done,
It's a
Zainab.
huge achievement, Zainab. Yeah. Well done.
And she said she was doing it around juggling being a mum as well.
That's
so,
insane.
Yeah.
Huge congratulations.
Boosted my mood to see that win for you.
Fantastic stuff,
huge.
Zainab.
What about you?
What's boosted my mood? It was actually in the workshop.
Oh, yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Oh, guilty.
One of the winners of the Shocks earphones, we did a little giveaway, was Michael, and turns out you live with him back in uni.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Oh, Michael, what a guy. Yeah.
You live with him? I had no idea that one of the guys coming was someone who you live with.
Yeah. I mean, I think I told you I went to uni with him, but maybe I didn't mention that I lived with him.
Was it, first year, second year you lived with him?
First year, kind of, we were next door flats, but our two flats were basically the same flat.
There you go.
And then second year as well, which is, great. What a guy. What an absolute guy. It was just so nice. I've not seen him for so long. And we keep in touch via reacting to each other's Instagram stories, basically. And it's just so nice that made me feel... a bit self-indulgently. It just made me feel really nice that he'd come and was supporting, and
it was lovely.
Hopefully getting something from it as well, which I think he did because he was asking questions, and you look
very he was asking questions. It was great.
But just I was really grateful that he came out and supported, because it was obviously a huge thing for us, really exciting. So lovely to see him, and I was like, Charlie, come meet Michael.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And I was, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I was also like secretly a little bit happy when he won the headphones. I was like, yes, Michael. Brilliant. Because he's just a lovely guy, and he said, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I won't say the role just in case he doesn't anyway, but he's aiming for a big promotion, like a huge title.
Cool.
And he said, again, I won't go into the specifics because that's his business, but he has got a very big year ahead.
Really?
Lots of exciting things coming up for him.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was just really nice to see him.
Let's go, Michael.
On that front, I know this is being very self-indulgent to have extra mood boosts, but I think it was really nice. Mainly your friends, obviously, your childhood friends and things. Slightly my friends as well now. Like, I really appreciate them. Great guys. But Tom and Sol.
Yeah, that was such a surprise.
I saw their names on the event where I was like, oh, Charlie, Sol's booked tickets. And then obviously he told you because he wanted to surprise you.
Did you know he was...
No, I didn't know. And then when I saw him walk in, I was like, yes.
So,
it's so nice.
Sol had booked 2 of the tickets to the workshop, and I messaged him like, "Oh, brilliant, mate! Are you going to come to the talk?" He's like, "No, sorry, my PT was really interested in just joining, so I've got a ticket for her and her partner." I think he said, and I was like, no worries at all. It'd be great to have you, but I completely get it. Looking forward to the talk. Let's catch up soon." Genuinely, that was it. And then, like half an hour before starting, Tom and Sol just walk straight in. I'm baffled to see them. I'm like, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah.
It was such a nice feeling just seeing them there. It was great to have them support. It really was.
It was. I think just, a huge thank you to them and to Michael. And obviously everyone for coming out. James, obviously, and Unlimited. Maddie, our housemate, was really helpful. Like,
she was great,
helping, and Ed, her partner, just looking after, handing out bags, all those things. But I think obviously everyone supports in different ways, and we're not counting the support and things.
Of course not.
But this is such a huge journey for us, and something we're so proud of. So I think it's just a real nice moment when, like, old friends that you don't necessarily speak to every single day, or all of those things, they make the time and come and support in a moment like that. It just, it really like warmed my heart to see them walk in. I was like, kind of as proxy for you, but also like, it was just really nice to see. And also Michael being there, it was just like, I was just really grateful for them. And in that moment, it was really nice.
Nice. Yeah. Amazing. Well, that's a lovely conversation. Thank you for that.
No worries.
Episode 44.
44.
Sí. Vale. Alright, well, do you want to start ripping some Spanish ASMR?
Rip, so no pressure.
Quiero. Thanks, guys.
Quiero que. Hola, mi madre. Mi familia es muy grande porque tengo 3 hermanos.